Yokoso! Clive-san tuimasu. Welcome, Xbox Monday Night Chat. Yes, tonight we're going to be talking about Battlefield 2042's coming to Games Pass. Oh my God. Xbox in Japan, all the games that have been releasing this week, and so much more. So, let me know what you've been playing. Let me know what you're looking forward to as I hit the credits and we get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, people. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Welcome to what I am now calling Xbox Monday Night Chat. It feels familiar. I hope you agree. And all of that. As ever, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. If you're here in the chat live, arigato gozaimasu. Massive welcome. And thank you very much for being here live. It's always appreciated because it is the Xbox Monday Night Chat. And you, ladies and gentlemen, are the chat. So make sure you get in the chat. Let me know what games you've been playing. All of that. And we'll take a look. As I said, we'll have all the news later. Some big games coming to Xbox. Big games are always coming to Xbox. But one particular big game is coming to Xbox Games Pass. And I'd like your opinion on it. Is it worth it? It's, at launch, it was a bit disappointing, but the game's meant to have improved recently. But is it too late? Too little, too late, as they say, and all of that. But anyway, let me know what you've been playing. All of that. Hit the likes, because of course I like it. YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find great content like this. And if you're new here, oh my gosh, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you know when I go live with awesome content, and it is great content, just like this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's in the early bird chat before we kick off. So this was a comment about Battlefield 2042 coming to Games Pass, not to xCloud. We don't know for sure yet, but probably not, but if it does, that would be pretty amazing. And I'm sure Xbox would be pushing for that. And it would be beneficial to Battlefield. But I'll come to that because it's going to be available free to play, like a trial period on other platforms as well. But we'll come to that. ER Gaming, how are you? Evening. Good to see you. Lovely to see you. Gadgets Kev is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Ray! Woohoo! Ray, the gaming cyborg, is here. ER Games has been playing Football Manager 23 and Grounded this week. So, yes, Football Manager 23 launched last week or so. Let me know what you think about it. Is it any good? I just haven't, got into it yet. I'm not sure whether it's my sort of thing. Hey, it's Just Joe. It's never Just Joe. Never Just Joe. Come on. How you doing? Sednar, good to see you, sir. And Jerome, ladies and gentlemen, Jerome is in the house. As I said, let me know what you've been playing, because I'm about to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, what I've been playing and enjoying. And I tell you what, I'm really enjoying my gaming at the moment. That's not sad, I didn't enjoy it when I was Stadia, but I was kind of so focused on creating the content for the Stadia show and all that kind of stuff. And, the pro games were quite exciting and stuff, but there was lots of big games that we kind of did miss out on, if we're brutally honest. And if you just stuck with Stadia. And so it's been quite nice to delve back and explore what's available in Xbox Games Pass in particular. So I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy. In fact, I've finished Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the thing. I'm finishing games. I never finish games very rarely finish games on Stadia because the next sort of shiny thing came along. But I've got back into these bigger story and narrative driven games, and I've really enjoyed finishing them. So I finished Plague's Tale, as I said a couple of weeks ago. Then I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy. I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the whole mechanics of it. It got a little bit repetitive in places in terms of, oh my God, not more monsters, they just kept coming. But I love the dialogue, the fun. It seemed to capture the spirit of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was funny and amusing and challenging in places. And I thought it looked great as well. I love the cutscenes. The performances were pretty good. They're not the movie voices, but that doesn't matter. I think all the actors captured the characters, and the story was good. I thought the story was really good, and we introduced some other kind of characters from the universe and stuff, which was really great, which we're going to be seeing in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, actually. I seem to remember it wasn't that well received. I mean, I think story-wise it was, but overall, I don't think it did that well in sales and stuff, even though it was considered to be better than the Avengers game, Marvel Avengers game. I never finished the Marvel Avengers game. I never really played the demo when it was briefly on Stadia. They had a demo period. But let me know, have you played Guardians of the Galaxy? Let me know what you think about it. And then the other thing is, I'd already started Battlefield 5, a few weeks ago, and I was going through the chapters of the campaign, the story. And so since I'd finished Guardians of the Galaxy, I went back to that. I only had 2 stories to finish that. I mean, in fairness, the story campaign in Battlefield V is not that long, really. It's a bit disappointingly short. I could have done with some more chapters. But I finished that as well. Great fun. Didn't move me quite as much as Battlefield 1. Didn't quite move me on that kind of level. But it was, I enjoyed it. So now I'm like thinking, what do I play next? So any recommendations? And maybe we'll come to it when we look at some of the games that have launched this week and stuff like that. Jerome here is mentioning he got a refund from Google. Yes, the refunds are coming in for the US anyway, so that's cool. So to answer your question, Roli Lahala, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Not yet. I don't think it's rolled out to Europe yet. Certainly not to the UK. I am, touch wood, I am not anticipating any issues because I have one payment card attached to my Google account. Yeah, so like hopefully it should just go straight to that card. So I'm not one of these people that, used a couple of bottle tops of beer tokens, a couple of receipts they found under the shelf, some old bits of Monopoly money, some credits over here, some what's it, and then wonder why Google can't instantly pay them, refund them on all those different things. I mean, yeah, it does sound like it's a bit of a snafu, but also like if you bought stuff with vouchers and credits and whatnot, you already got credits, if you know what I mean. You already had an advantage of credits. Don't expect necessarily to get those credits back. Do you know what I mean? It's quite complicated to work out the monetary value of things. If you're already getting the benefit from like points or something like that. Do you understand? Anyway, I'm not going to go, but I'm just saying. And it sounds like it's not being handled that well overall. But ultimately, yeah, I hope I don't have any issues because I bought everything. I have one payment account attached to my Google. Isn't that a normal thing to do? Don't know. Just my little tuppence worth. Just my little credits, Anyway, so no, but we'll go. Well, I did have a look to see how much I'd get back because on my actual Stadia account, it only shows the year 2022. And obviously I've got stuff from 2020 and 21. But when I double checked all my payments in my Gmail, I can work it out roughly. So there we go. Lugo's got a lot of refunds from Google. Good to see. Hey, Suarez. Good to see you, sir. Lugo is saying, I suggest playing Scarlet Nexus. Awesome action game. I will check that out. In fact, let's have a quick look now. I like a good story game. Which reminds me... oh, it's a Bandai. So, oh, it's an RPG. Here we go. In the distant future, psychonic hormone is discovered in the human brain, granting people extrasensory powers and changed the world as we knew it. Ooh. Oh, yes. Okay. Very Japanese anime there. Is it a good story? That's the thing. That's what we want to really know on that one. Anyway, we'll check it out. Check it out. You can't refund to a closed account. People use Visa and MasterCard gift cards. Yeah. Complicated. I guess they never anticipated that. And then they've sort of, it sounds like they've outsourced the payment process as well. So things like that are going to be very complicated to sort of get to the bottom of. But I would say, again, I'm pulling the figure out of the sky, out my butt. I reckon like 80 to 90% of people just have one account attached to their thing. So that should be straightforward, I'd like to think. But yeah, I don't think they ever anticipated having to refund everybody. It would never have been in the business plan, would it? You'd never have thought of that. Even Google. So I can imagine it's very complicated. And I can understand why people are frustrated and disappointed with it. But anyway, there you go. Which Xbox subscription? Ultimate. Ultimate, that's what I'm on. I have Ultimate. I upgraded to Ultimate fairly early on when it was pretty advantageous to do so. So there. Have you noticed the chat coming soon on the Game Pass web app? I haven't, Suarez. Is that a thing? Not noticed that. A bit convoluted for me and a lot of items to upgrade with, but the combat is top notch. Ah, on the game. Oh, it's good to know. Good to know. I'll definitely check it out. So while we're on the subject, let's check out some games that have been released, because there could be some things that could pass my time while I'm waiting. I'm just going to my news chart. So exciting here, ladies and gentlemen. Warzone is coming. Obviously, it's free to play, so not strictly Games Pass, and it's not in the cloud, but it is free to play. Call of Duty Warzone 2.0, the Battle Royale aspect of it, is dropping on the 16th, so Wednesday. So something to look forward to. Let's just clear that if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not a massive... I kind of I'd like to be a great Battle Royale player, PvP player. I'm just not good enough. I kind of enjoy playing, except I'm not very good, and so I don't always enjoy. Although, having said that, I've been testing out something recently. Big video coming on that, so watch out for that. Between you and me, ladies and gentlemen, don't tell anyone. But I've been testing out GeForce Now 3080 tier. And, wow. That's all I'm going to say at this stage. And I was testing out Apex Legend. I haven't played Apex Legends in a long, long time. I used to play on Xbox all the time. Wasn't ever very good. But at least you're in a team, so people can carry you. So I won a few times, because basically got carried. Through the whole thing. Anyway, hadn't played in ages. Trying it on GeForce Now 3080. First game, for having to remember what I was doing. Jumped in. Won the first game I've played in ages. Didn't do much. A little bit of damage. But anyway, it played so well. It played so well on the 3080. Oh my God. It was so good. And then also, now look, bear with me. This is purely for research, ladies and gentlemen, purely for research. I've played a bit of Fortnite. Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Just for research again, testing out the 3080. I don't really play that, and I don't do any building or anything like that. Again, top 3. And I'm rubbish. I'm rubbish at PvP. But I like games like, so Apex Legends. It's nice. It's fast. It's very twitchy and fast. And Warzone is a bit like that as well. Twitchy and fast. And they've added some new features to it. So it's got a DMZ, God, I'm English, DMZ, but DMZ kind of aspect to the game. So a bit like Escape from Tarkov, where you kind of gather resources and then get to the extraction point and stuff like that. So that might be a bit of fun, especially on something like 3080. But I'll try it on the Xbox as well. As I said, it's not, so it's coming to Games Pass. We don't know. No, that's not coming to Games Pass. I apologize. It's free to play on Xbox. So that's why I've mentioned it. Anyway, so it's like using Grandad Bing. Yes, Suarez. GFN, less logging in these days. This was my bugbear. This was the thing that put me off about GeForce Now. There's still some issues, but yeah, when I click play to play Fortnite, I'm straight in. Yeah, I'm straight in. Destiny 2 similar now, so the Steam account stuff. But it's when every time you start a new game. Like I started playing Roller Champions and it was saying you'll put in your code for the game. I thought, I don't have a code for the game. And it's because I had to go to Ubisoft Connect, sort of claim the game in Ubisoft Connect, then go back to GeForce Now. And then when I tried to sign on my TV, it wanted me to put in my email and everything. And the keyboard wasn't coming up on the TV. How do I get a keyboard on the TV with the controller or even my remote control? Keyboard wouldn't come. How do I put in my email? I ended up having to connect a keyboard by Bluetooth to my TV just to put my email in. Now, eventually, the second time round, it only asked for a code, which I can do that with a remote. So there are a few games and elements, and every time it's new that you have to iron out. But other than that, yeah. So it's not quite that kind of self-contained console eco experience that you get with a console. You know, you get the controller that is made for that platform. The games are made for that platform. When you stop playing a game, you come out to the user interface of that platform. It's nice, self-contained. I like it. I'm a console player at heart. I'm not a nerdy PC player, although I have seen the light on GeForce Now, 3080 tier that is. But anyway, more on that later. And if you want to see me talking more about GeForce Now, let me know in the chat. Not on this show, maybe another show. Anyway, but yeah. Suarez says, will you be playing Battlefield 2042 when it comes to Game Pass, which is apparently around the corner? So, yeah, so let's go to that, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the... well, actually, before that, have you played yet? I had a quick look at Halo Winter Update. I haven't played... the new co-op mode. I'm a bit too scared to play the PvP on it, but I do want to play the co-op mode on some of the mission levels. And I saw Ray and SPG playing earlier. I think they were doing a mission in co-op mode. That's the thing I think is going to be quite a lot of fun. So if you're still in the chat, Ray, let us know what that experience was like, and was it fun with the new co-op mode available for the sort of campaign aspect. But anyway, yeah, that has launched now with the Forge mode as well. I saw a great level in the Forge mode here. I don't know if what game is it? I think, yeah, in Minecraft there's a game, I forget what it's called, where you're on different layers and you knock the blocks out and you're trying to get your opponent to fall down to the next layer, and you eventually fall down to the next layer, and then you're sort of chopping blocks away until eventually people are falling into the lava. Somebody's built that game, that type of game that I've seen in Minecraft in Halo, and it looks really cool, where you sort of run around trying to sort of knock the blocks out and get your opponent to fall down to the next level until eventually they fall down into sort of the lava or whatever. It's really cool. And I love that about, custom maps and modes where people can get really creative and start creating their own games. I mean, PUBG originated out of a glorified mod of an existing PC game and then became its own game. So, yeah, I love, and, Minecraft has so many kind of games that people have created, Bed Wars and things like that. So that'll be interesting to see what people come up with. So there we go. Once it remembers your account, whether it's Steam, Epic, GOG, etc., I use it as a controller for everything now. That's good. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I found. Steam is working okay. Origin, I've still got to test because I've had issues with that. It worked on the PC, but less. It's when I swap between the PC and then the TV, sometimes I have to log in again, and I'm trying to get it to remember like my login on each device, so I don't have to keep doing it. But it is a pain. You have to do it each, like for a new game, for example, or a new library. But if you play the same games all the time, it's less of an issue. But yeah, Caseball says Halo co-op works great. Played it with my son earlier, and Ray, yeah, awesome. It was awesome, Clive. It looks a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. I just need some friends. Is this even on the free tier? I still have to type in my password for Ubisoft and Steam. Yeah, so I think I've stopped having to type my password in for Ubisoft and Steam. So it shouldn't be. You should be able to tick a box that says remember. It should remember your device. I'm not sure whether it's exclusive to Priority or the 3080, but I hate it, and I hate logging in passwords on the TV because you don't have a keyboard. Sometimes it comes up and sort of offers you a virtual keyboard. But with the Ubisoft one, the first time I logged into Ubisoft on the TV, I'd already done it on the PC, but the first time I logged into Ubisoft on the TV, a keyboard option, even a virtual keyboard option, didn't come up. It was, so the fact that I had to connect, I was lucky I had a Bluetooth keyboard lying around and that my TV works with the Bluetooth keyboard. But there we go. Only time you need to log in again is on an update. There we go. So it's improved. It's vastly improved from where it was. It's still not that kind of console. Look, at the end of the day, it's not a platform. I guess that's my point. It's not a self-contained platform. And that's fine. Some people love that. And if you're into the world of PC gaming and all that, that's fine. But I do like, and that's why I liked Stadia. It was a self-contained platform, like a console is, or like Xbox, like PlayStation. You're in that ecosystem. The controller is specific to that ecosystem. So you press the home button and you go back to, G4, you go back to the Xbox front end or whatever it is. The same with Stadia. I don't know how to get back to the GeForce app on my TV when I want to quit out of a game. Don't know how to do it. Don't know how to do it. But my big tip is on GeForce is spend time connecting all your accounts with GeForce Now and then it will eradicate a lot of that signing in stuff again. Anyway, we're not here. Look, I can do a different show. If you want me to do a different show on GeForce Now, which I'm tempted to, then let me know. Let's get back to what we're here for, talk about Xbox. So yeah, excuse me. Halo winter update. I'll dive in. Maybe I'll team up with somebody willing to do a level with me, a mission, whatever. So there we go. Press the right button. So there's that released, of course. Then the other thing is Pentiment. Now, this has been getting 10 out of 10 on Steam reviews and stuff like that, on certain reviews. 10 out of 10. Now, it may be early days. I don't know, but it might be worth tapping into this. So that's released today. Again, so I might give this. I might have a look at this after this show, actually, because it's been getting some good reviews, some high ratings. As I said, it's early doors, but it's getting some high ratings. Anyway, so that's what launches today. Let me just go back to this, and then the other one. Oh yeah, so let's go to the big news. Battlefield 2042 is coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate later this month. Season 3 will see it launch on the subscription service. So that's the big news. Now, it launched a year ago. No coincidence. But basically, a year ago, Battlefield 2042 launched. And let's be honest, there was a lot of disappointment around it. I wasn't really paying attention because it wasn't, obviously didn't launch on Stadia. So I wasn't really paying attention. What I did know, though, is it wasn't, as with often the case with gamers, overhyped. Gamers very disappointed, very fussy. But Battlefield 2042 coming to Games Pass. It is also going to have some free trial periods because I think word in the street is it's improved dramatically. Partly by season 2, they say they've listened to developers. They've done a bit of a sort of a cyberpunk on it, and they've gone away, fixed some things, changed some things. It might be too late. The player base may have gone, but you can play free in December, not just on Xbox Games Pass, but on other platforms and systems that it's available on. They will be having free sessions and stuff like that. So could be worth checking out. As somebody pointed out to me, they need to get the players back in, and it being, part of Games Pass means that maybe they'll get the player base back onto it. I don't know. But anyway, so season 3, loads of new content. They're introducing specialists, as it says here, as well, which was a bit of an issue and a complaint from before. They're basically borrowing from every game, aren't they? So yeah, let me know. I think it. Look, it did lose a lot of players. Look at that. That's very. What am I thinking of? Rainbow Six, isn't it? The specialists. I mean, there's so many game specialists, but yeah. But I think it's maybe worth. I mean, if you've got Game Pass, surely it's got to be worth checking out. And as I said, it's free to play for trial periods on a number of other platforms. So, we'll see. May not be on GFN. But as it's they want as many players as possible. They should maybe get it on as many platforms as possible. Just saying. But we'll see. Does anybody know without me checking whether it was on GeForce Now anyway? Can't remember. But according to Suarez here, miles better, Clive, he says. Totally different game. So I definitely will be checking this out. when it comes. Let's just go back and check what the news story here is. When Season 3 is coming out. Season 3 will see the return of classes to Battlefield 2042 and loads of new content. So one complaint was there wasn't really a roadmap. Where we heard that before. There wasn't really a roadmap of content to come. So here they're already saying they're doing our work on Battlefield 2042 isn't done. So after Season 4 next year, they're working on new content, loads of new stuff as well. There's been loads of evolution improvements we brought to the game for yourself. And we look forward to welcoming Yokoso onto the battlefield. Just having a quick look. Here we go. Limited free time trial runs from December the 1st. So this is on all platforms that has it available. On Xbox, so you don't even need Xbox Gamepass. December the 1st, Steam, PlayStation. Not on GFN. There we go. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 and V are on GFN, but no others. And interestingly enough, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 are in the cloud on Xbox. So that's the interesting thing. Obviously, EA account. Oh, that's... here we are. EU, UK, Germany, Brazil. Germany is in the EU. Why would you separate out Germany? Anyway, yeah, so December the 1st. And it's 4 days or 5 days on Steam. On PlayStation, it's a bit later, 16th to 23rd. So a 4-day trial, basically, but it will be on Games Pass, you know, not permanently, but, it's on Game Pass, so it's not a short trial. So presumably, is it launching then on the 1st of December? I'm trying to see where the date, that's what I'm assuming then. Must be from the 1st of December. So something to look forward to, definitely. Let me know in the chat whether it's something that's of interest to you, something that you kind of will dive back into, whether you've played it already or not played it before, but we'll give it a go because it's now available on Games Pass Ultimate or those 4-day trials that are available. But definitely worth checking out, I reckon. I'm certainly going to be checking it out, so hopefully you can join me. Excuse me. Right, ladies and gentlemen. One other thing here, I saw a tweet I want to share with you, which is quite interesting. I saw this tweet from Xbox Japan here. I'm fascinated by all things Japan. Of course I am. And they've done this old Japanese sort of print here as a joke. And look, these Xbox Series S's here in the picture. Now, what they're saying here is basically saying the Xbox Series S is coming. And at first, look, I'm not Japanese. I've translated it. It's arrived. But what I was thinking, well, it's already arrived in Japan, actually. Let me depress that. So basically they're saying Xbox Series S has arrived. But what they're saying is that they would run out of stock in Japan. I mean, stock's an issue all over the world. But I think they'd run out of supply in terms of the Xbox Series S in Japan. And what this tweet is basically saying from Xbox Japan is a whole new supply is coming in. So anyway, because I was slightly confused, thinking, well, I thought it already, released in Japan, and I dived into it a bit more to realize actually what they're referring to. What is interesting is how well it's actually sold, generally. And this was from a month or so ago. And again, here, look, Xbox Series. It says Xbox Series. I don't know whether they mean Xbox Series S or whatever has outsold. So Xbox Series, maybe they're referring to the Xbox Series S. So people question about the price. Is it holding Xbox back? Or holding games back? Well, no, not if it's getting sales in a territory which previously had been very difficult for Xbox. Xbox Series S is what they're referring to here, has outsold the PS5 in Japan for the third time ever outside of launch week. Now, that may be because of, supply issues with the PS5 and stuff like that. But it's still interesting in that particular 1 week. Xbox Series S sold 14,000 units to, I don't want to touch that thing, to PS5's 11,000 units. And you can see here, obviously the Switch. Look at that, 96,000. That's just all Switches. Look, all the combined Switches. I mean, look, 178,000 as opposed to 1.6 million, obviously. And even if you add Xbox Series X, total 159,000 to 170, there's like 320 odd thousand compared to 1.6 million. I'm not saying Xbox has come to take over, but it's interesting that the Xbox Series S is doing well. It says here the Xbox Series X was lagging behind, so that's a big ask. Japanese people, they're going to spend their equivalent of $500, their yen, on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. It's going to be a PlayStation 5. But at $250, Xbox Series S could satisfy a bit of curiosity. The other thing that they say helped drive these sales is that Xbox did have a big representation at the Tokyo Game Show around about this time. So there was a big marketing push at the time. But yeah, look, Xbox Series X was lagging well behind the Series S model with just 866 units sold. So the Xbox Series S is doing better, not surprisingly, than the Xbox Series X in Japan. A few factors appear to be in play here. Firstly, Xbox was offering a special 5,000 yen coupon discount for Series S in Japan. And this took place alongside the announcement of the PS5 price increase by 5,500 yen in Japan, creating the perfect sales storm for Microsoft. Xbox also put on a good display at the Tokyo Game Show with a series of announcements for Xbox Gamepass with a kind of Japanese bent to it. So, there we go. But I just found that kind of interesting. The Xbox Series S gets a bad press, but I think it's a great little machine, for people who want to get into gaming. I mean, it's better than the, the original Xbox, and it's about the same price of it. And it kind of delivers. I forgot to give you all of this, ladies and gentlemen. There's your Special Achievement Award. Just realised. Yoshida says, compact and slim. Exactly. That's another factor, actually. A lot of apartments in Japan are very small. Compared to, say, America, accommodation is small. Minimalism rules. And the Xbox Series S, nice, slim, small size. What's not to like? So there may be another factor into it. So good point, Yoshida. Arigatou gozaimasu. Let me just get my chat working. Why isn't that? Let's clear the Chat box. I was just messing with the chat box there. Anyway, so yeah, let's have a look. Let's go to chat, see what you've been saying, ladies and gentlemen. Germany has its own GDPR, which is much stricter. Ah, there we go. So slightly harder, slightly more difficult to kind of get their approvals there. Callisto Protocol failed to reach certification requirements in Japan. Too bloody, and Devez won't change it. Machines, however, are now region free, so Japanese people can order them from abroad. Exactly. Yeah, remember that back in the day? Like an American version of the game. It was like regional DVDs, wasn't it? When you think about that, that's crazy. Nowadays, kids, you don't. I suppose there are different. I suppose there are different films on different Netflix. So, for instance, yeah, my job, we acquire the rights to. If we do a deal with Netflix on a program that we're commissioning, that we're going to put, say, that we'll put on the iPlayer exclusively, and then, you know, Netflix have come in with loads of money, and they're going to get the rest of the world. So something like Peaky Blinders, although it was available on Netflix in the UK as well. People think it's a Netflix series, of course it's a BBC series. But in other territories, yeah, it will be seen like a Netflix series, and then but because they have the rights for the rest of the world. But in the UK, it's a BBC series. So you have those regional differences in terms of the content that the big streaming platforms have. So that's a bit like a shout back to the old DVD regional days, but it's still a crazy concept. The game, just play a game wherever you are, shouldn't you? Really, you think about it. Microsoft. I hope Microsoft release we can buy games in xCloud. Yes, that's the next big thing, isn't it, Jonas? Really, they've been experimenting with it, toying with it. They did a beta where you can play the games you already own, which is a sort of idea. But I don't want to be streaming those games from my Xbox. I'd rather be streaming those games from the Xbox servers, if that makes sense. There was a time you could stream your game from using your Xbox as a kind of server. But yeah, it would make it's the next step, really, being able to buy games and then stream them direct from the servers. I was shocked this week, says ER Gaming. Yeah, I'll put it there. ER Gaming says, I was shocked this week to find that I was dropping frame rate on Grounded via xCloud. Is this game specific? I've not noticed in other games. That's interesting. That's always the nature, with cloud gaming. It's odd because I was testing GeForce Now out, and on my PC with a wired controller, wow! In the response time, graphically, everything amazing, but the response time, all of that, amazing. But then, of course, when it comes to the TV app, I'm relying on a Bluetooth connection, and you do notice a slight difference. But when I played the same game today, I didn't notice it as much. I mean, we're talking like millisecond difference, like hardly notice. It's sort of not. It's not off game. It's not off-putting in terms of gameplay. But yeah, it just seemed improved. So it can vary. Your experience can vary, and that's the thing about cloud gaming. The experience can vary. You'd like it to be sort of consistent, a bit more consistent. Have you heard anything about the family plan for Xbox? Other than it's rolling out, we don't know when. I tell you when they ought to roll it out. For Christmas. I have a YouTube video on my channel. So I talked about it last week, Gus. There was a breakdown of all the different plans. I have a YouTube on my video. one of my sort of most successful YouTube videos. It was on a. I'm having a look around to see if I've got it on my shelf. It's behind the green screen. It's on a cheap Xbox controller from Power A. Like it's about 20 quid, $25, whatever. And had over 200,000 views. Not flexing, just saying, right? Over 200,000 views. It's a bit old now, the video. But at Christmas time, on Christmas Day, the views on that video spike. Every Christmas, they spike. Because people have got, kids are getting an Xbox for Christmas. Yeah? And an Xbox comes with a controller, single controller. And then your little Johnny or little Janet, she wants to play. I want to play on the Xbox with you. And we'll have to get another controller. Well, I'm not paying 50 quid for a controller. Quick look at Argos or Walmart or whatever. Oh, here's a controller, 25 quid. Is it any good though? Let's have a look on YouTube. Power A gaming controller wired for Xbox. Is it any good? My video, up comes my video. Ka-ching. AdSense. Thank you. But anyway, so the point is, convoluted way of saying, they ought to release the new family plan in time for Christmas, don't you think? Would make sense to me if that's what they did. It's annoying me that this... I'm just going to see if I can refresh it from here. Excuse me while I... no, I can't. That is annoying. It's going into studio mode. Now, that way, I can just... carry on talking while I amend... Try and get the chat. The chat should be in here. See, the chat should be here, and it's not. That's the annoying thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's temperamental. Now I put it in studio mode. I can fiddle about without me the screen going funny. Right. That's the chat box. That's because... Okay, that's good. Refresh browser. Properties. Take that out. Take that. Fresh current. Okay. Right. Back to me. Back to the chat. Sorry about that. Transition. There we are. We're back and there's nothing there. That's fine. Right. I heard they don't allow... This is Japan. I heard they don't allow first-person perspective games with guns and stuff in there in Germany. Really? It's also weird talking about the cuts they make to Callisto Project in Japan. Has anybody watched any... It's weird. Different countries have different things which they find morally unacceptable or not, too violent or not too violent, so you watch any kind of good anime and it is so bloody. Like, this is stuff for kids, teenagers, like guttural, any chance to chop somebody's arm off and then blood, somebody's head comes off. They love it. My daughter loves all the anime stuff. And there's all of that. And I sometimes sit there going, I can't believe they didn't cut away from that. And yet other things, they don't allow. It's just like really weird mix. Really kind of, just a kind of mix of stuff. And in America, there's some things they don't. They're quite prudish about certain things, and yet completely nonchalant about certain violence. Crazy. Microsoft work to buy games in cloud and play them. Yeah, that's what we want. I'm still fascinated that I can play high quality games from a streaming stick like Amazon Luna. Yeah, well, that's the closest thing to Stadia, isn't it, really? But I mean, Amazon, all the tech firms are going through massive change. Like basically massive cuts. And I read today, Amazon are making massive cuts. So we know about Google. In fact, Google was one of the first, and I think they probably got ahead of the game and made massive cuts, of which Stadia was a consequence of that. If there hadn't been a downturn, a global downturn, I think they would have let Stadia continue. I don't, you can say about Google mishandling it and all of that, but ultimately the death of Stadia was as a result, I would say, because it didn't launch successfully, as it were. It was an injured animal. It was a wounded animal, but that wounded animal could have limped along and got better and improved if it was given the right care and attention and time it needed. And it wasn't, but they were doing their best. The small team on Stadia were doing their best to kind of, with limited resources, to kind of keep the thing alive, just keep it going. And, this time next year we'll be millionaires kind of thing. We'll get there. But the economic downturn and the massive cuts that tech companies are making, I mean, they're making massive cuts. And Netflix are doing it. Twitter's doing it. Meta's doing it. Amazon's doing it. Could Luna go the way of Stadia? I mean, Amazon aren't quite as vicious when it comes to sort of killing stuff. It's not the way that they do stuff. They're much more business orientated, whereas Google are much more experimental in their kind of business approach. But it's interesting. Internet, they're very sensitive around some military iconography. Yes, you see. So how does Battlefield 5, for instance, play in Germany? In the last story, you play a tank commander. I mean, it's sensitively done. It's all about the horrors of war at the end of the day. But you do go around destroying Allied forces. And there are flags up. Let's say they have a red background. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah. It's interesting. You can buy Call of Duty in German stores. Do you think Samsung roll out Samsung Gaming Hub to 2021 smart TVs in 23? I don't know, Jonas. I mean, in order for cloud gaming apps to work really well on the TV's got to be pretty up to date. 2021 may be the cut-off point. So with LG's, I think they went back to 2020. Because I think they had a A7 processor in it, the LG. So it really depends on what the processor is in the TV. So they could go back to 2021. What I'd like to see, though, is I'd like to think that the Xbox app on the Samsung Gaming Hub is like a limited, is an exclusive for a limited period of time. Because there's no rhyme or reason why there shouldn't be an Xbox app on LG. So the only reason there isn't, I think, is they've entered an exclusive partnership with Samsung. And hopefully that exclusive partnership will be a timed partnership. So maybe next year, since they're not making Xbox aren't making their own dongle, their own streaming dongle anymore, or a streaming stick or little streaming device. We know they're not doing that. They've said we're not doing it anymore, despite they had a prototype and all of that. We're not doing it, which makes sense to me. Why would you do it? It's not Xbox's business. They're not a streaming device company. But having an app, yes. So could we see an LG Xbox gaming app on LGs next year? I don't know. It's weird how you can murder people, cut heads off and stuff, and you can't show a boob on TV. That's what I'm talking about, Jerome. It's that kind of contradiction. The prudish kind of, no sex on TV, but, violence is fine. Don't take Luna from me. Hey, look, I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying that these aren't just small cuts. They're Massive. Check out this in The Guardian. Not. Just got that out. Amazon. Oh, let me just. Oh, I've gone to studio mode, so you need transition. There we go. Amazon reportedly planning to shed 10,000 corporate and technology jobs. 10,000, ladies and gentlemen. It's planning to dismiss about 10,000 people in corporate technology jobs starting as soon as this week, according to the New York Times. The cuts would be the largest in Amazon's history and come as other companies like Meta and Twitter are all shedding workers. Yes, the probabilities in this economy tell you to batten down the hatches. We're facing a global recession, people. Facebook parent Meta Platform said it would cut more than 11,000 jobs, 13% of its workforce. And Twitter has announced it's cutting half its 7,500 employees. I mean, although the focus is on Elon Musk and Twitter, or half is a lot, actually, of your employees. Forget about the number. The percentage is high. Ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, that's a lot. So could Luna, you know, look, say Luna isn't shuttered or killed or whatever, progress and development on Luna will probably dramatically slow. Like on any aspect, will probably dramatically slow down, I'd imagine. Things are just, you know, there's been no big investments coming forward. It's all about saving the money. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Luna's only been held up in Montero by the biggest cloud platform in history. Stayed with all but global by 2023 on the smallest cloud capable of independence. Yeah, you see, I don't see. Oh, of course, I don't see expansion. So that's one of the things. I don't see expansion of Luna coming anytime soon if they're cutting 10,000 corporate and technology jobs. You know, who's to say they didn't have it planned for rollout to Europe next year? But I can't see it coming soon. If they're cutting 10,000 jobs, it'll just be business as usual. IOG confirms that, yes, the LG CX was the 2020 model LG, and they did roll back to that, I think. So it started with the C1s, didn't it? Jerome says, I still have my PlayStation 3, my Wii U, my Atari 2600, and my Wii, and I'm not going for Sony or Microsoft in the future anytime. No way. Or Nintendo for that matter. I am tempted to buy an Xbox Series X, but part of me wants to wait until they revamp it, like bring it, do a smaller version of it. I could go around on personal billionaires never before. Yeah. It is extraordinary that these so much money as individuals. Amazon was the first company, I think last week, Amazon were the first company to lose $1 trillion in value. $1 trillion in value. I mean, significant, but not significant to take the company down. $1 trillion in value they lost in the week. The biggest loss, monetary-wise, any company in the world has ever made. $1 trillion is crazy. Crazy kind of money. Anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We went on quite a lot of diversions, didn't we? A lot of kind of side alleys. We talked about lots of different things. We talked about GeForce Now and all of that. So, I was going to go back to chat, see if anything's popped up. No, nothing there. Let's go. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in the chat. Making the chat interesting and all of that. Oh, I wish my ability to buy games on Xbox Cloud Gaming after TVs. Yes, here. That would be a nice present. I agree. ER Gaming. I missed that one. Yes, I like those presents. Put them in the box. Anyway, as I said, thank you. I really appreciate all you guys. You know, we don't get like massive, we never had a massive audience before. We don't get as big as audience before when we're all kind of Stadia focused and now. But I like doing these shows. I like doing these live shows. And I really appreciate the people who turn up and watch. And long may it last. I'm going to be doing, say, a massive review of my GeForce Now 3080 tier experience. That hopefully will be coming out maybe this week. So look out for that because I'd love your thoughts. It's like one of my good, like my Xbox cloud gaming review, which had like, what, 5,000 odd views already. Like my Boostroid one as well, but even slightly more in depth. I think people are going to be surprised by what I've got to say about it. So definitely check that out when that comes. And make sure you come back here this time, same place next week. And, you know, we'll do it all again. Thanks for being an amazing audience. Thanks for being wonderful in chat. Sayonara. Konbanwa. I hit that because I've gone to studio mode.